This is 5 on your side at 10.
We start tonight in storm alert. Round 2 of storms are moving towards St. Louis right now after round 1 left behind some damage. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Ann Allred. More flash flooding could be the main concern overnight. Let's get straight over to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell.
And once again, we're dealing with thunderstorms rolling through the area. None of this is severe, but we are looking at some downpours. So far, it hasn't been heavy enough to cause any major flooding problems, at least in our 5 on your side area this evening and around the metro area. But really, the last thing we need is more heavy rain. And it's noisy, too. If you're getting ready to go to bed, look at this line of thunderstorms across St. Charles County, full of lightning, about 1,000 lightning strikes here in the last half hour, 15 minutes or so. And that line stretches from about Washington, Missouri, right through across the Daniel Boone Bridge and then on up into St. Peter's and St. Charles, areas that were hard hit by heavy rain last week with the flooding. Now, this is going to be moving right along Highway 40, Interstate 64 and into St. Louis. It's producing rainfall amounts generally less than 2 inches. Looks like the rainfall intensity is about an inch and a half to 2 inches an hour. That's manageable as long as they keep on moving, these storms. There's a few more that are over into Fayette County and Bond County. But then look back to the west. There's more development out along the Missouri River and out west of Columbia. That still has to move to the east and southeast. Therefore, we think the greatest threat for flash flooding overnight will end up being south of St. Louis, perhaps off to the east. So the National Weather Service has that flood watch going. It does not include St. Charles or St. Louis counties or the city of St. Louis or Madison County in Illinois and points to the north. They've dropped that out because it looks like the focus now is going to be on the southern side of the metro area. We'll be back in a few minutes. We'll time it out with Futurecast, have an update on that radar screen, and hopefully a little less lightning to show you.
We're following breaking news out of North St. Louis. That's where police are on the scene of a double shooting.
And within the last half hour, we've learned one of the victims has died. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon was the first reporter on scene. Brent, what are you learning?
Yeah, the call for this one, Mike, coming in within just the past hour and 15 minutes. Let me show you exactly where we are. This is Broadway and Halls Ferry on the north side, and I want to show you 2 different focal points. One is a fire station and another is a church. Right now, you're looking at the scene in front of the fire station at Broadway and Halls Ferry. This is where shots rang out around 9:45 tonight. We can confirm that 2 people were shot, and we now know within the past half hour that one of those victims have died. Right now, authorities focusing on this red Mazda. Right now, we're working to confirm reports whether a person was behind the wheel when that person was shot. Now, that second focal point, the church. Right here to my right is the Trinity Full Gospel Church, and as you can see, that is across the street from the fire station. And this is where we saw nearly 24 evidence markers on the ground. Lots of questions here. Who opened fire? Who are the victims, and what is the motive behind it all? We're all over it, and we'll get you the very latest, both on air and online, as soon as we learn more. Again, 2 people shot tonight. 1 person has died, a motive and a suspect unknown. More details as we get them, but for now, that's the very latest from St. Louis. Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
All right, back now to the storms. Lightning struck a home in Florissant. The homeowners were getting ready to go out to dinner when they heard a loud boom. After investigating, they found smoke coming out of their spare bedroom, and then it caught fire. Luckily, crews arrived quickly and were able to put out the fire. No one was hurt, and we're told the family got out okay. And take a look at this tree in Bridgeton. You can see it was hit by lightning. The strike split the trunk. No one was hurt here. Strong storms hit North County today, just as hundreds were seeking assistance from this past week's historic flooding.
The Red Cross opened its second multi-resource agency center in Florissant today. 5 on your side's Elise Schoenig tells us how the rain changed the course for those seeking help tonight.
Yeah, well, that rain isn't coming down anymore, but earlier today it was sending people right out of this center, so much so that the very flooding relief they were trying to provide to people had to be postponed yet again because of the rain.
It's like a slap in the face from Mother Nature, you know.
Rain pouring down.
And it's just total chaos.
And people pouring out.
We've been asked to close this mark down for the safety of the weather that's moving in, for the safety of all of the people that are here.
On Wednesday, the Red Cross opened another one-stop shop to help people impacted by flooding. With just 15 minutes until it closed, the center was chaotic this afternoon. But even when trying to get relief from the rain, the weather still had its way for people like Leroy Logan.
I try to get help, but it's like 1,000 people in here, man, and they're trying to direct us to another center tomorrow, but, you know, I don't know what else to do right now.
The shelter had many resource agencies, flood cleanup supplies, and support. It was a space for countless people to come together and share their stories.
My home had about 2 to 3 foot of water in it. Everything is ruined.
Like I woke up, the water was this high. I almost drowned. We had to get out in boats and everything.
Good news still. More shelters will be open throughout the week. And for Logan and others, it's just one more reason to push through one hard time after the next.
I'm gonna stay strong, so she can't keep me down forever.
Elise Schoenig, 5 on your side.
Despite today's cancellation, there are a number of centers that will be open for the next week. We have a full list of each center's time, date, and location on our website, KSDK.com.
Flood victims in East St. Louis sure hope Mother Nature is nicer this time around. Our Robert Townsend visited the hard-hit community today, which got some much-needed help.
Right now, I just want to go in and just get in the closet.
After a week of battling flash flooding, Terry and Carl Barnes have had enough.
It's been pretty rough.
You got to be exhausted.
Both mentally, physically, yeah.
Last Tuesday, record rainfall fell on their neighborhood near 53rd Street and Belmont in East St. Louis. Knee-high water flooded their front and backyards and their basement. A few days later, raw sewage backed up in their toilet.
The water was seeping in there, and then from there it was just all downhill.
And today, more rain. Now the flood-weary couple isn't taking any chances. Carl spent the afternoon taping a thick tarp to their basement door and stacking several sandbags here.
Hopefully keeping as much water out as possible, and so keeping it dry.
We're just trying to get everything on high ground.
Just blocks away, help now on the way. A truckload of nearly 100 cases of water and boxes of sanitizing wipes, paper towels, and other toiletries, all delivered today to Community Lifeline, a faith-based group helping 50 East St. Louis families hit hard by the recent floods.
We're going to make sure that they get out to the citizens.
McDonald's franchise owner, East St. Louis native Jimmy Williams, and his wife also donated $10,000 to help flood victims recover.
We would like to just take this opportunity to thank Mr. Jimmy and Mrs. Janet for this opportunity to receive these donations.
Back on 53rd Street, Carl Barnes hopes they receive a break from Mother Nature.
Fingers crossed and prayers, just praying that it'll work.
I just got off the phone with Terry Barnes, and she says earlier tonight they got a little rain. She says right now it's not raining in East St. Louis. Still, she and her husband are definitely bracing for another possible long night.
Robert, thanks. Many people in our region have been affected by last week's flash flooding, and you can help them by making a donation to a charitable organization of your choosing through our Give 75 campaign. More information on our donation page with the St. Louis Community Foundation can be found at ksdk.com/give75. And if you need flooding assistance or would like to volunteer or donate to flooding victims, just text the word HELP to 314-425-5355.
New information tonight about a deadly hit and run that killed a teenager outside of Ted Drew's. Tonight, police are looking for this pickup truck. Surveillance cameras capture these images of the dark gray Ford F-150. Investigators say it has damage on the front driver's side and the headlight is broken. 17-year-old Matthew Nikolai was hit and killed while walking to the custard stand on Chippewa Friday night. If you have information, call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. The armed citizen who shot and killed a man robbing a St. Charles gas station has been cleared of any wrongdoing. The St. Charles County Prosecutor's Office announced today no charges will be filed in the case. The shooting happened in the early morning hours of July 16th at this Quick Trip on First Capitol Drive. Police say a 26-year-old suspect had a knife pointed at the clerk when the customer shot him 4 times.
Tomorrow, the Del Mar Loop Trolley will officially be back in service. One trolley will run Thursday through Sunday from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. You remember the trolley shut down back in December 2019. It was built with the help of federal grants. The city would have to repay $52 million if it wasn't up and running by this summer.
No to NATO. Josh Hawley stands alone. The Missouri Republicans' reasoning for blocking Finland and Sweden to join. Back to school shopping while trying to make ends meet. The big blowout event just hours away, offering 90% off retail.
Blue, darling.
Some daytime drama for Days of Our Lives fans. The big move for the long-running show.
And we're still in storm alert tonight, tracking these thunderstorms into the metro area. It is enough rain now for a small stream and urban flood advisory for the city of St. Louis County, back to include about Cottleville up through St. Peters and St. Charles. Fast-hitting storms, at least they're not staying in the same spot. We're tracking that and the rest of the overnight forecast next.
Flags at the U.S. Capitol are at half-staff tonight in remembrance of Congresswoman Jackie Walorski. The Republican from northern Indiana was killed in a car crash in her home district today. 2 staffers in her car and the driver who hit them head-on were also killed. Walorski served in the U.S. House since 2012 and was seeking her 6th term this fall. She was 58. Missouri Congresswoman Ann Wagner called Walorski her closest friend and confidant. She released a statement tonight saying, quote, "Jackie and I shared a deep and abiding friendship, and words will never be able to do justice to this heartbreaking loss. I will miss her always." Just hours ago on Capitol Hill, the U.S. Senate voted to expand NATO and allow Sweden and Finland to join.
Only one senator voted no, Josh Hawley of Missouri.
This isn't an easy vote, to be sure, but it is the right one for our security, for our prosperity, for our people, for our nation.
Finland and Sweden have long remained neutral in military conflicts. Their membership will significantly strengthen the NATO alliance in the face of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But Hawley says the U.S. must focus on its #1 adversary, China, instead.
Today, President Biden signed an executive order protecting abortion rights. This is his 2nd executive order on the issue. The last one was focused on contraceptives and privacy. The president says this latest one will help women who travel out of state to get an abortion. It would also make sure health care providers comply with federal law so people can get the care that they need. And tonight, abortion rights advocates are celebrating a significant and unexpected victory. 59% of voters in Kansas voted to uphold the state's constitutional right to an abortion, which is currently legal up to 22 weeks. 5 on Your Side political analyst Anita Mannion says this is the first real test of the notion that abortion rights should be up to the voters.
Yeah, I think that it was surprising for a lot of people, including myself. About 4 out of 10 voters in a red state in rural areas still supported the right to abortion in that state.
Missouri advocates for abortion access say it's difficult to get this issue on the ballot, but the vote in Kansas gives them new optimism.
Gas prices are finally headed in the right direction, down about 80 cents in the last month. Here's more promising news. Tonight, the price of oil has dropped to $91 a barrel. That's levels we haven't seen since before Russia invaded Ukraine. A new government report shows inventory is up, a sign that demand is lagging. School is just around the corner, and we want to help you get a leg up on some major community sales.
As Michelle Lee reports, right now it really pays to be thrifty to help make ends meet.
All right, well, some of you have always loved thrifting, but guess what? It is all the rage again, and it's really giving retailers a run for their money right now. I mean, check this out. You can get a boys set or a girls set for $100 or less. This is a big sale in South County.
I know that this sale really blesses the community.
This is the Just Between Friends sale in South County, and it's happening Thursday, just in time for the start of school. You can find gently used or new items up to 50 to 90% off what you would pay in the store. And the people who already signed up to sell items typically make more than $400. So you're going to find clothes, toys, shoes, coats, strollers, and much, much more. It is a huge consignment with more than 50,000 items and perfect for families with growing kids.
We know that in the recession, with all the inflation of the prices of gas and groceries, families don't have extra income to go out and buy retail clothes and shoes, and so they can come here, they can get name brand clothes, Under Armour, Nike, all these name brand items, and just save so that they have money for the food and the gas.
Now, this is a ticketed event. You can pay $5 at the door or get a free ticket online. We have posted a link on ksdk.com in the As Seen on TV section. Also want to mention the back-to-school tax holiday in Missouri starts on Friday, runs through the weekend. A lot of the items here are going to qualify for that. Should also mention the Illinois tax holiday starts on Friday as well, runs for 10 days. Reporting in South County, Michelle Lee, 5 on your side.
So again, the tax-free weekend in Missouri starts Friday. Certain back-to-school purchases such as clothing, school supplies, and computers are exempt from sales tax this weekend only.
Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
Don't kill the messenger here. There are more days ahead, but not on broadcast television. After 57 years on its daytime schedule, NBC is moving Days of Our Lives exclusively to its Peacock streaming service. It starts September 12th. New episodes will drop every weekday on the platform. A new program, NBC News Daily, will take over the afternoon time slot.
Well, last week, as we've been saying, we had that flooding after historic rains. And flooding for some areas is a possibility again overnight, right, Scott?
Yeah, it definitely is. That's a potential. Now, we're not expecting severe weather during the overnight hours. That was earlier. We had the thunderstorms earlier late this afternoon, early this evening that brought those in. But these are heavy rainmakers right now. This is a live picture out at Lambert, and you can see a drenching rain with a lot of lightning. Over the next hour, it is going to be really noisy in St. Louis with that drenching rain. But we're not going to see what we saw earlier with the severe weather. This is what it looked like up in St. Anne Park. Again, with the gusty winds that came through, Lambert had a wind gust of 52 miles per hour. Up in Litchfield, it was a 76 mile per hour wind. That's enough to bring down some trees and some power lines. We do have scattered power outages across the area. There's still about 5,000 customers centered in North St. Louis County that are currently without power, and Ameren has crews working on that as we speak. But this isn't helping. Big batch of heavy rain producing a quick inch and a half here as it slides in from St. Charles County into St. Louis County. And this green shading you see underneath, that is the area of the small stream and urban flood advisory. That does include much of the metro area with this band of showers and storms pushing through. The flood watch for overnight into early tomorrow, mainly to the south of St. Louis. Here's why it's in effect. The potential of rainfall really seems to be highest here from the metro area and then going south. We could see some spots ending up by, let's say 9, 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning with as much as 4 to 6 inches of rainfall. This is going to add another inch or two. It's also going to keep us awake for another hour or two as the lightning with these thunderstorms that stretch from St. Louis and then another cell back towards Washington and yet another towards Herman all have a tremendous amount of lightning. They're all tracking off to the east, southeast. That's going to take them right through St. Louis County and eventually across the river into our areas that were also hit hard by flooding last week over into East St. Louis. So again, flood-prone areas. This one's probably not going to set you off, but if we get several more of them through the overnight hours, we are going to be very concerned about the potential for flooding. What's left of the showers and storms here stretching over towards Carlisle Lake and the northeast, they're tending to weaken just a little bit. Let's take you through the overnight hours. Showers and thunderstorms are expected to be around. We do expect there to be a shift more towards the south of St. Louis and east of St. Louis by 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. The potential certainly there for more heavy rainfall out of some of those storms. And then they kind of wind down during the morning hours. So if you work outside tomorrow afternoon, it may be okay, maybe drying out a little bit, but we're still in the upper 80s for highs, and there'll be just a little slightly less humid weather around. Winds have still been gusty with this out of the northwest at 29 right now, 76 degrees. We did hit 98 for the high today, and before this batch of rain, we had about an inch and a half. We're tacking on another inch or so. So overnight tonight, noisy for the next couple of hours around the metro area with showers and thunderstorms. While we're not expecting severe weather, we have that potential for some small stream and urban flooding if the storms keep coming at us and redeveloping back to the west, which we don't think that's going to be a big problem tonight. But if that were to happen, then the flood threat will increase. Looks like that flood threat's to the south. We'll be here all night tracking it for you.
All right, Scott, thank you. Here's Frank.
And Roger Goodell is a knucklehead. I'll tell you why. The Cardinals are making decisions about their rotation. That story, and a legend is retiring in St. Louis.
And while not anticipating widespread severe weather, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that just popped up. It does include St. Louis County. It looks like we've got some wind here. Take a look at the radar real fast, and I'm going to do this very quickly so we don't interrupt Frank's sports too much. But around De Pere and just south of Town and Country, it looks like, maybe into Sunset Hills, headed towards Shrewsbury, we do have an area of winds that we're concerned about. Looks like 50 to 60 mile per hour winds there. That may cause some downed limbs and potentially some power outages. So we're tracking this storm. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for St. Louis County, St. Louis City, and across the river into St. Clair and northwestern portions of Monroe County. See you in a few minutes, Frankie.
The Cardinals and the Cubs were postponed tonight. There will be a split doubleheader tomorrow. Miles Mikolas in Game 1 at 12:15, and Jose Quintana will start Game 2 at 6:45. Now, there are still a healthy percentage of Cardinal fans who are not happy with John Mozeliak's wheeling and dealing at the deadline. You wanted a Corvette, and you got a Camry. Actually, the Cardinals got 2 Camrys, and they didn't have to pay a Corvette price to get them. Not a single precious prospect given up. And these 2 pitchers, Quintana and Jordan Montgomery, like Camrys, will give you good mileage. They're both over 100 innings. So, do they have a World Series roster now?
Look, we're getting to the postseason and getting the opportunity to get to the World Series. I don't think anybody's going to claim they built a World Series club today. So, to answer your question, if we get hot, we can play with anybody, and hopefully we get hot.
So Roger Goodell has never been a favorite in our town. The exodus of the Rams from St. Louis was as deceitful as it gets, and that's why our city got $790 million. Speaking of money, Goodell makes $63.9 million a year. Did you hear that? $63.9 million. So why can't he just do his job and handle the Deshaun Watson case himself? If you haven't heard, the NFL is appealing the 6-game suspension handed down by an independent arbitrator. The NFL Players Association will then respond, then Goodell responds again. You confused? The reason the league brought in a third party in the first place is because Goodell has botched all of these cases in the past. For $63 million, do your job, Roger, and do it right. Hey, take a look at this soldier, the late Captain Matthew Brewer. He was a star football player at Lafayette High School and the Naval Academy. Matt took his life due to the effects of suspected CTE and PTSD. This is his brother, Brant McCartney, who has dedicated his life to provide support in funding and awareness for mental health for veterans. His organization, 38 Challenge, will be staging one of their warrior workouts this Saturday morning at Lafayette, and they're looking for more participants. Go to the website, help out a great cause. It's a tough 38-minute workout, and it was really tough for Brant seeing his brother decline.
I remember one time specifically, we were sitting in his truck, and at this point, we weren't talking a lot. We hung out a lot with each other physically, but there was always that awkward tension, so not a lot of words were spoken. But he looked at me and he said, "I'm sorry that I'm not the brother that you're used to." And I remember thinking that was so strange to me, because this is the man whose dog tag I got tattooed on my back when he was alive, right? I always looked at him as my greatest mentor, role model, superhero, right? But he saw himself as a failure.
Get to Lafayette on Saturday morning. Finally tonight, Frank Viverito retired today after 27 great years as the president of the St. Louis Sports Commission. He brought Final Fours, 12 wrestling championships, Olympic trials, the Musial Awards, and he just grew sports in our region. Getting that men's Final Four was really exhilarating for Frank.
But the thrill of victory, you know what that's like. You played basketball. To actually know that you're getting the biggest event on the planet in that sport, in your town in 6 or 7 years, just such a thrill.
Congrats to Frank, and the very capable Mark Schreiber will take over for Frank Viverito starting January 1st.
You picked that soundbite because you wanted to flaunt your basketball career.
You know what? That was Corey Miller who did that. I had no idea he was doing that. No, I'm serious.
Corey, cut this one.
We'll be right back.
And these storms coming into the metro now, a little bit on the feisty side. We're looking at some wind gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour right now, just to the southwest of the St. Louis City, St. Louis County line as you head back towards McKenzie, towards Webster Groves, Glendale, also down towards Afton, picking up some of those gusty winds right now. In addition to that, with that threat for severe wind, you got a lot of rainfall here, and now we're looking at a flash flood warning that has been posted for much of St. Louis County and the city of St. Louis. That's because these storms are dropping more than an inch of rainfall in a half an hour. Looks like we'll max out around 1.5 inches to 2 inches, but it's just coming too fast for the really small creeks and streams to be able to handle that. We'll keep you updated here through the evening.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Kevin Bacon is Jimmy's guest. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. until 7, and have a great tomorrow.